Hey guys, and welcome back for another short flow. Today's session is all about the hips and the shoulders. For these sessions, you are going to need a strap, PVC pipe, an item of clothing, whatever you've got to hand, a belt, a scarf, just to do some shoulder pass-throughs for the warm-ups. So if you've got one of those, when you're joining for these sessions, always bring them along with you. And whenever you're ready, just find a space on the floor or grab your mat if you have one and come to the center and join me in Tadasana for a quick warm-up. So for today's session, this is a really good mobility session for your shoulders and your hips if you've had any aches, niggles, pains, tightnesses there, because it's going to not only build mobility and flexibility in those areas, it's going to also help strengthen and stabilize those areas too. For all these hips and shoulders sessions, if you have a strap, PVC pipe, scarf, belt, item of clothing, leggings even will do, just to do a few shoulder pass-throughs for the warm-up, that would be really great, and it might also help you with some of the stretches in the flow too, if you haven't got quite enough movement range or mobility there as well. So for all these sessions, always bring your strap. You won't need anything else, just some space on the floor, a mat if you have one, and whenever you're ready, just come and join me and we'll get started as it's 9 o'clock. So for our warm-up today, it's going to be slightly different from the other sessions. We're going to start in the center of our mat with our strap. So grab a hold of that strap. We're going to hook one end or loop one end around and then grab the other end with your other hand. So you've got a nice wide grip. So we're going to then take that wide grip about hip distance and then take the arms up and over the head and then tap behind. If you find that this movement's quite easy, what you can do is start to narrow your grip by hooking maybe just 2 fingers or getting another whole hand wrap on the other end. So just go along with it until you find there's a little bit of a challenge there for you, and we're just tapping the front and tapping behind, just bringing the shoulders, opening the shoulders up, bringing the arms up and over, trying to keep those arms nice and straight, don't bend at the elbows. If you find after a couple of pass-throughs, you begin to find you're a bit more flexy, you can start to take your grip a little bit narrow and bring it up and over just to finish in a challenging position for those final reps. So we're just going to do 3 more reps, front to back. We're probably down about 10 to 15 in total by now. One last one. And then once you've done that last rep, just release your hand from that strap and just put it to one side. You may or may not need it depending on your mobility level. From here, we're just going to come into a simple Uttanasana forward fold in a ragdoll position just to start. So we're going to inhale to find that length, lifting up through the spine. So really think about lengthening your spine, lifting out of the pelvis and lifting through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips, bend at the knees. Think about then drawing your chest over your thighs, crown of the head hangs towards the ground, and you can just take opposite hand to opposite elbow and just take that ragdoll position for a few breaths to start, opening up the glutes, the lower back and the hamstrings, all important areas that are attached to your hips. And then from here, we're just going to take our hands to the floor. We're going to come into a crouched position now. As we come down, we're inhaling to bring our knees in towards our chest, lifting our heels and tucking our nose to knees. And as we exhale, we're going to push back up into Uttanasana, bringing the heels back to the floor, lengthening the spine over your legs and folding into that forward fold. We're going to do that 4 more times. So inhale to crouch, exhale to fold, inhale to crouch, exhale to fold, inhale to crouch, exhale to fold. One last time, inhale to crouch, exhale to fold. From here, just heel toe your feet out to the edges of the mat to find your squat stance. We're then going to inhale to lift all the way up, extended Tadasana, palms together at the top, and then exhale as we come down into our garland pose. So don't worry if your heels are lifting, don't worry at all. I'd much rather you'd have lifted heels and an upright torso than be down here with your heels flat and crouched over your legs. So think about extending through the spine, finding that nice long neutral spine, lifting through the crown of the head, pointing the tailbone towards the floor, and then use your elbows against your inner thighs or knees to press the legs open and push or pull the chest through. And you can just take a few pulses in the bottom of here, so just bounce gently up and down into your hips, keeping your eye gaze nice and straight ahead of you so that you remain lifted at all times and you're not tempted to crouch over like this. And then we're just going to take the left hand to the floor, inhale to lift and twist to the right, exhale, release, switch over the hands, inhale to lift and twist to the left. Plant both hands to the floor and we're going to step back into lizard lunge. So I've come a bit too far back on my mat. So taking the back knee, so left knee goes back to the floor, the right leg goes out towards the side. You're keeping the toes glued to the floor as you press that knee outwards, and your hands should be on the inside of your feet. Just take a few pulses there in lizard lunge. Looking forwards, keeping that chest nice and lifted again, don't look down. And then step back to down facing dog. Pedal out the legs. Take a moment there to just open up the hamstrings, the hips, the calves, and the ankles. And then you might even want to do a few pulses through the shoulders as well. Opening up the chest. And then when you're ready, take the left foot outside of the left hand, dropping the right knee to the floor. And again, just a few pulses. Or you can even just press against that knee and push it out to the side. Just keep those toes glued to the floor. Keep that chest nice and lifted. Eye gaze forwards. Do whatever you need to do to get into that hip and just start to mobilize it and warm it up. From here, you're just going to step back to that down facing dog position again. And this time we're going to go into a body flow. So you're going to lift yourself forwards into that high plank and drop your hips straight to the floor, coming up into Cobra. If Cobra is too much for you, you can always come to Sphinx. So wherever you need to be, in either one, we're just going to draw a figure of 8 with our hips and our shoulders just to open up that front body. And then go back in the opposite direction if you can figure that one out. It feels a little bit weird. If not, just rock from side to side, it's fine. And then just tuck your toes and press back into that down facing dog. Maybe take a few more pulses through the shoulders, opening up that chest, and then pedal out through the heels to open up those legs. From here, we're just going to walk the feet all the way in towards the hands, coming back into that Uttanasana Ragdoll again if you want to, for just a few breaths. You can swing from side to side, back and forth. Just think about bringing that chest over the thighs, nipples to knees, crown of the head towards the floor. Nice, long, neutral spine. And then inhale as you come all the way up, extended Tadasana, exhale, release. And you should be feeling a little bit more warm and mobile. So we're gonna start this flow again in Tadasana. So set yourself up at the front of your mats. Really think about your positioning here. So feet are hip distance apart. Lift your toes, spread them, press the feet firmly into the ground. Feel that connection with the ground and your feet. Press through the legs, engaging the thighs, tucking the tailbone under, sucking the navel back towards the spine. Roll the shoulders back and down and just take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then on the next inhale, we're going to lift our hands all the way up, reaching up tall. As we exhale, we're going to take the hands back behind us, interlace the fingers, clasp the hands together, and pull the hands back down towards the ground. Just take a nice deep breath in here as you feel that stretch across your chest. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forwards into Uttanasana forward fold with a reverse arm stretch. So reaching the hands up towards the ceiling, pulling them away from the back, folding the body over those legs. Take a bend in the knees if you need to, and just take a few deep breaths, maybe even pulse the hands back and forth to really work into those shoulders. Exhale, release. Plant the hands down on the floor, and then we're going to step all the way back to your down facing dog position. Just take a moment there to pedal it out. Open up those calves, those hips, those hamstrings. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale to lift the right leg up high to the sky, bend at the knee. You can stay here or you can take a little hip twist and just work into that hip area, just mobilizing it, limbering it gradually with a little mini twist. And then we're going to bring that leg all the way through into pigeon pose. So right knee comes forwards to the front of the mat at a 45-degree angle, sliding the left leg back. You want to find a nice level hip position. So if that means that you're up here and your bum's slightly lifted, that's absolutely fine. You can support it with a block or a pillow under the sit bone. And then slide yourself all the way back, finding that hip bone to heel and sit bone to floor. Once you're there, use your hands either side of your legs to press into the ground and open up that hip flexor. So really press the ground away and lift the body up as you feel that stretch in that left hip flexor. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. And then as you exhale, fold forwards over that front leg, bringing the body over the thigh, head to the floor, into sleeping pigeon, and just take 3 deep breaths, keeping that hip locked onto that heel. Don't let your body roll over to one side. One last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then slowly inhale as you come all the way up. I've faced the wrong way for the first one, but basically you're going to roll over onto that right sit bone and swivel around so that your foot comes in, your right foot comes in towards the inside of your left thigh. So I'm going to swivel so you guys can see, but you should be able to just stay in your same position. You're going to square the body off now to the left leg. Inhale as you lift and lengthen, and then exhale as you fold forwards over that left leg, bringing your chest towards your thigh and your head towards your knee. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale, fold deeper. And then inhale as you lift through the body, windmilling the arms up and over. Right hand goes back behind you on the floor. And then you're inhaling to lift the hips and the arm up towards the ceiling. As you reach over, exhale into your mini back bend. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale, release. And then you're going to come into down facing dog from here. I'm going to swivel around so you can see me now do the same thing on the other side in a moment. From here, you're just going to pedal out your feet, maybe pulse through the shoulders, and then we'll take a nice body flow. So you're going to inhale as you roll forwards, drop the hips, come up into cobra. Take a nice deep breath all the way in, and then exhale as you sit back in extended child's pose. Option to stay in extended child's pose, or if you want to go deeper into your thoracic spine and shoulders, you can start to slide through into puppy pose, bringing the chest towards the floor and getting into the thoracic spine. Take 3 deep breaths wherever you're at. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then inhale as you come all the way back up, taking your hands back underneath your shoulders, tucking your toes and pressing back into down facing dog. We're going to repeat that now on the other side. So left leg goes up high into 3-leg down facing dog, bend at the knee, play with that hip, open it up, limber it, feel the stretch, challenge yourself, how far can you twist? And then when you're ready, exhale as you bring it through. Left knee comes through to the front of the mat at a 45-degree angle, right leg slides back. Remember, nice level hips, so hip bone to heel, sit bone to floor. Grab that block if you need to and place it underneath that sit bone if you need to. Press into the ground as you place the hands either side of the leg and open up that right hip flexor. Press the ground away as you take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale, one more deep breath all the way in. And then as you exhale, fold forwards over that front leg. Coming down into your sleeping pigeon. Take 3 deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then slowly, as you inhale, come all the way back up. Rolling over onto that sit bone now again. Taking the right leg out long, bringing the left sole of the foot in towards the inner right thigh, squaring the body off to that right leg. Inhale as you lift and lengthen. Exhale as you fold the body over that right leg, bringing the chest towards the thigh, head towards the knee. One more deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then inhale as you come all the way up, windmilling the arms back and over. Left hand goes behind you on the floor. Inhale to lift and reach with your right up towards the ceiling. And then exhale to reach up and over. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, release yourself all the way back down to down facing dog. Pedal it out just quickly, and then we're back to that body flow. So inhale, roll forwards, drop the hips, come up into cobra. Take a moment there if you want to, just swivel the hips, open up the front body. And then as you exhale, push back to extended child's. And then if you want to, come through into puppy pose once more, bringing the chest towards the floor, eye gaze towards the front of the mat, keeping those hips stacked above the knees. Take 3 deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then slowly come into a prone position on your mat. So we're going to go into our bow variations. So option 1, you're going to take your hand, left hand out long and left leg out long. Grabbing a hold of your right ankle with your right hand, you're going to inhale to lift and kick. So we'll all do that for 3 deep breaths. So taking left hand out long, left leg out long, right hand goes back, and then inhale to lift and kick. Hold for 3, 2, 1, exhale, and then switch sides. So right arm goes long, right leg goes long, left hand comes back to left ankle, inhale to lift and kick, and then hold for 3, 2, 1. Option now to stay with that variation or take both hands back to both ankles. Bringing yourself in, try and keep the knees as close together as you can without them flaring out too wide. And then we're going to inhale to lift and kick into both hands at the same time, into full bow. And again, hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. We're going to do that one more time for those of you that are doing opposite sides. So coming back down as you exhale to come down. Inhale to lift and kick again. And hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Release the hands back underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes and press up into down facing dog, and we're back to another body flow. So inhale, roll forwards, drop the hips, look up, come up into cobra. Take a nice deep breath in, roll those shoulders back and down, stretch out that front body. And then as you exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. We're going to walk the feet all the way in towards the hands now, coming into your Uttanasana forward fold. Inhaling to come all the way up, bringing the palms together. Take the body weight over to the left side, lifting the left leg up. We're going to cross the ankle over, the right leg up, cross the right ankle over the left knee. Bring the hands down to heart as you exhale and sit back into your heels, into crouching tiger. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale to come all the way up, release. Take the hands out wide now as we sit back and into our heels again for chair pose. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale to lift, bringing the hands together at the top again. Left ankle crosses over right knee and we sit down into crouching tiger on the other side as we exhale. Coming back down, sitting in the heels and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, release, shake it all out. And we're going to come back down for another Uttanasana with a reverse arm stretch. So taking the hands back behind you, interlacing the fingers. Inhale as you pull the hands away and open up the chest towards the ceiling. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. And as you exhale, fold forwards over those legs, bringing the hands up and back behind you towards the ceiling, away from the body. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale. One more deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then release the hands. Coming down into a crouch curl again, we're going to inhale to bring our knees towards our chest, lift our heels, tuck our nose to knees. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to crouch curl. Exhale to forward fold. We're just gently going to walk the feet all the way back now to your down facing dog and perform another body flow. So we're going to inhale, roll forwards, drop the hips, look up, come into cobra or sphinx, wherever you're at. And exhale as we sit back into extended child's or puffy pose, whichever you prefer. So if you're in extended child's pose, really reach forwards with the arms. If you're in puppy, slide the chest through, hips stacked above knees, eye gaze forwards, chin to floor. Take 3 deep breaths. And then inhale as you slowly come back up. We're going to take another body flow. So tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Inhale, roll forwards, drop the hips, look up, come into cobra. And then exhale as you come up into a kneeling position this time. So we're going to come into camel pose, taking the hands back behind us, either on your hips or your heels, wherever you prefer to go. You're going to think about rolling those shoulders and lifting through the heart towards the ceiling. So if your hands are on your hips, lift your heart, look up towards the ceiling and just let your head hang back as you shoot your hips forwards and find a mini back bend wherever you are. If you're on your ankles, grab a hold of those ankles, make sure your heels are in your palms, shoot the hips forwards, let the head hang and open up through the chest. Take 3 deep breaths. And then slowly inhale as you come all the way back up, and then exhale as you sit back in extended child's pose. Take a couple of breaths, just relax off the spine. You can shake it all out if you want to. Let the body melt through the thighs. If you want to go for a wide-legged child pose, you're more than welcome. And then slowly come up onto your heels and sit back for hero pose. So option 1, to sit on your heels like so, or option 2, to take the feet out to the sides, find that space between the feet to slide your bum down. Whatever you're doing, you shouldn't feel any pain in the knees, you should just feel a nice stretch across the quads. From here, we're then going to take the left hand underneath the right, crossing over at the elbows, wrapping the arms together, and then inhaling to lift. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. 2 more deep breaths just like that. One more deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And release. And then switch sides. So right arm goes under left, wrapping the hands. If you can't quite grab your hands, grab your wrists, grab wherever you can. And then inhale to lift. And again, just 3 deep breaths. And then exhale, release. From here, we're going to come forwards onto our hands and knees, swivel ourselves around and come into an upward plank pose. So legs are going to go long in front of us, taking the hands back behind us, fingertips away. You're then going to take yourself up with your hips, drop your head back and come into this upward plank pose. You should feel this on your, through your chest and in your shoulders. Take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale. One more breath all the way in. And then exhale as you release yourself down to the ground. So you should have felt that through your shoulders and down your arms perhaps as well. The next pose we're going to do is cow face pose. So I'm going to twist myself around towards you. Take your feet out in front of you, soles of the feet on the floor, and we're going to take the right foot underneath the left, bringing that knee directly in front of you. We're then going to take the left leg over the top of the right and stack the knees. So a good way to get into this is to come forwards first, cross the knees, and then sit back in that space. If this is too much for you, you should have both sit bones on the floor. If this is too much for you, you can always take that left foot and place the sole of the foot on the floor, or if that's even too much still, you can just take that right foot, right leg out in front of you underneath. So wherever you need to be, find your position with the legs. Sit back, and you should feel this in your hips as you find that connection with the floor. With the hands, we're going to take the right hand up, left hand out to the side, and then reach back behind to interlace the fingers and grab a hold of the hands. So if you want your strap for this to help you reach, you can. You should feel this stretch in the left shoulder and the right tricep. Just take 3 deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale, release the hands, and then inhale to lift the knees. Exhale, unravel the legs. So we're coming back to that position, but we're switching sides now. So we're taking the left leg under, bringing that knee directly in front of you, and then the right leg stacks on top. So remember, if you needed to do the variations, you've got those with the leg extended or the foot just simply on the floor. If you're comfortable and you can do it, you can always come forwards, cross the legs, and then sit back, so that you have that perfect seated position. So your soles of your feet should be facing upwards either side of your hips. You should now feel this in the other hip. Once you're there, we're going to take the left hand up this time, right hand out to the side, reaching back with the right hand and down with the left. Interlace the fingers if you can, or use a strap or something to help. You'll probably find one side is very different to the other. And again, just 3 deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale, release the arms. Inhale to lift the legs. Exhale as you unravel them and come back into a seated position. We're going to come into a seated wide leg forward fold. So taking the legs out wide this time, think about flexing the feet back towards you. Again, I'm going to face you so you can see this. So take them as wide as you can. Think about connecting your sit bones. So pull the fleshy bits of your bum out from underneath. Really connect your sit bones with the floor. Flex those toes back towards you. And then think about lifting and lengthening through the spine. As you exhale, you're going to slide your hands along the floor and reach out in front of you as far as you can go. Maybe just take 5 pulses to start. 4, 5, and then hold for 3, 2, 1. You can slowly come all the way up, and then we'll go back down and do it again. So this time, if you want to, you can do the same again, or sometimes I prefer to hold on to my feet, find that length in my spine and reach my chest towards the floor as I do this. So grabbing a hold of my toes, I'm going to exhale to fold forwards, and again hold for 3 deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then inhale as you come all the way up. Bringing the legs together, shake them off. And we'll come into half Lord of the Fishes. So I'm going to swivel back round on my mat again. Keeping the right leg out long, I'm going to take option 1, the left sole of the foot on the floor opposite the right knee. Option 2, you can tuck that right leg underneath you and see if you can, just like cow face pose, keep both sit bones connected to the floor. Option 1 with the arms, you can hook the right arm around the right knee and bring the chest in towards the knee as you exhale to look over the left shoulder. Option 2, and I'll swivel so you can see this, you can take the elbow around the outside of the right knee and reach through the hole and take the left hand back to bind behind as you look over the left shoulder. So I'll swivel the other way so you can see what's going on behind as well. So you're taking the arm up and over, reaching through, and then binding with those hands, trying to keep both sit bones connected to the floor. Take 2 deep breaths. And then exhale, release. and switch sides. So we're taking the left leg out long or tucking it under, right leg goes over, sole of the foot on the ground. And then with the right arm, you're going back behind you. The left arm is either coming around that right knee or taking it through and under. And again, you'll probably find there's a big difference between sides. As you inhale to find length, exhale to twist to look behind. And again, see if you can take that bind with the fingers. Take 2 deep breaths. And then exhale, release. Slowly come back to your center position, take the legs out long, come onto your backs, and then bring your knees in towards your chest. Just give them a quick hug with both arms, and then take the hands out in a T-shaped position, palms facing down, just drop the knees from side to side. For a few window wipers to release the lower back. And then the final posture of the day is a reclined butterfly pose. So if you don't have a bolster, simply just stay in this supine position, bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop out towards the side as you bring the heels in towards the groin. If you have a bolster, what might be really nice, and if you want to stick around for a Savasana quickly, you can afterwards, bring the bolster behind you, slide it into the lower back, soles of the feet together, and then relax over the bolster, letting the shoulders drop either side, opening up the chest. And just take 5 to 10 deep breaths here to finish. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then slowly inhale as you come all the way back up to seated. And join me in one final deep inhale as we lift the hands up above the head, palms together. And as we exhale to the forehead, kind thoughts. To the lips, kind words. To the heart, kind feelings. Namaste.